We have reached the middle of Nebraska fall practice, and with that being said, we are getting so close to the Huskers kicking off in their first game versus Cincinnati. So today, I will be finally releasing my last and final Nebraska depth chart prediction. This is going to be perfect, all the way from offense, defense, special teams. I think I hit the nail on the head. We have some surprises. We have some guys who you're not expecting who might be starting, some guys who you think might start who could be second stringers or even third stringers, and so much more. A lot of surprises and hot takes as we're about to talk about. So really quick, this video is jam-packed. Hit that like button if you're fired up. And also, if you're a diehard Nebraska fan and are not subscribed, what are you waiting for? The season's almost here, and it's the only place on Nebraska YouTube where you get daily content talking favorite between talking Huskers. It's no brainer. It takes 2 seconds. Hit that subscribe button. Thank you so much. But without further ado, we have a lot to talk about. We're going to be going over my final and last Nebraska depth chart prediction going into the year. We're going to go over what's changed, some hot takes, some guys who are rising to the rankings, some guys who are going down, and so much more. So let's just get things started with the quarterbacks for Nebraska. We're going to go in order from offense to defense. So let's just start off with the quarterback depth, because we've seen a lot of movement from the beginning of fall ball. Raiola, obviously starting quarterback for Nebraska, no question about it, no battle. It feels good to say that for the first time in a long time. But after him, a lot of things have switched up. Gramstad, I now have as number 2 for Nebraska. I was drinking the Davila Kool-Aid for some time. Unfortunately, looks like he's not having the greatest fall ball. He's still pretty much a freshman, so he's learning the playbook, learning Big Ten defenses. And then the big surprise right now, from everything I've heard at fall practice, Lateef is currently quarterback 3, and that's not because Davila is playing that bad. It's because TJ's playing that good. He does not look like a true freshman. The accuracy has been phenomenal. The progressions have been phenomenal. He put a lot of work in during the summer because he wants to play right away, and there's a lot of confidence inside that building that maybe not versus Cincinnati, but as the year progresses, TJ could potentially push to be our quarterback too. So I know Nebraska, they want to preserve his red shirt, but they've said time and time again, hey, if you're a baller, we're going to put you in, we're going to get rid of that red shirt. So TJ, just watch out for him potentially getting some snaps over Jalyn Gramstad. He's definitely going to play in 4 games for the Big Red. And then as for Davila, we'll see. I think he'll play in a couple games as well, but he's just not ready. But hopefully he will be going into next year and potentially could be our backup then. All right, let's go over to the running backs, because we've also seen a lot of movement there as it's been with pretty much all of these positions. Now, going on to running back, you have Emmett Johnson as our starter, no question about it. But after that, there's definitely been a lot of movement. Mekhi Nelson right now has solidified his spot as running back 2. He's going to be more of our power back, our short yardage back. When we need, a crucial 3rd down and 1, we need a 4th down and 2. Mekhi Nelson is going to get in the ball game for that. I have Quinn Ives right now at running back 3. He's fell a little bit from his running back 2 spot just because he's been banged up, whether it's in fall ball and in spring ball. He's going to be questionable going into that Cincinnati game. You got Isaiah Mozee there at running back 4. He's more of our pass pro running back, 3rd down type of guy who's going to be receiving threat, not really a power back of any sort. And then right now, as our 5th running back, I got Kenneth Williams, former walk-on, but somebody who's had a really good fall camp. And then as you'll notice, there's no Jamarion Parker because he looks like he's out for the entire year with a knee injury. And then Connor Booth, there's no Connor Booth in this as well. Then over to the wide receivers, we have our starting lineup, which has not changed pretty much since January. You got Dane, Nyziah, Heinrich, Jacory, Barney. But after that, there's been a couple changes. You got Keelan Smith there at wide receiver X. He's had a really good fall camp. The coaching staff, they continue to harp on him, how much he's impressing everybody. Janiran there at our 2nd string spot. And I still got Demitrius Belt in the 2nd string unit. Now, he's not going to be, probably available for that Cincinnati game. They're aiming for that Michigan game for him to return. But, when he is healthy, he'll likely be in that 2nd string unit for Nebraska, no question about it. And then you go to the 3rd stringers. You got a couple true freshmen in there, Cortez Mills, Jeremiah Jones. They're going to get in the ball game a lot. Don't worry about that. You also got Quinn Clark, who's had a very strong fall ball as well. So again, very strong wide receiver core, but they just all got to stay healthy, right? Demetrius Bell got to get healthy and stay healthy. Dane Key's had some injury concerns. Hopefully he can stay healthy along with the rest of these guys. This receiver room is good, but health matters the most, and that's why it's going to be probably shaken up a lot as we go through this year. Then going over to the tight ends, you got Luke Lindenmeyer there at tight end 1. That's pretty much solidified. It's been that way since the spring. Card Nelson's had a strong fall ball. You got Heinrich Haarberg there at number 3. Again, Haarberg, I just have a tough time putting him in this depth chart because I just don't consider him a tight end. He's going to be more of a utility knife, more of a Janiran type of figure rather than a traditional tight end. So yes, is he tight end 3? Sure. But he's not going to be your traditional tight end. So I wouldn't wave the red flag at that. And then after that, I mean, it's pretty much wide open. Markway is pretty much out for the entire year with his ACL being retorn. I'd watch out for guys like Eric Ingerson, Caden Echternak to get that fourth tight end spot. But more likely than not, Aaron, I can see a fourth tight end for the Huskers if everybody stays healthy, which is a concern because Card Nelson has got injured throughout his career. And Lindenmeyer also got injured too. So hopefully all these guys can stay healthy. Then going on to the offensive line, pretty much the starting lineup has not changed for me. I know that Elijah Pritchett and Gunnar Gertula, they're in a big battle right now for left tackle. I still expect it to be Elijah Pritchett by game time, just because, again, they're paying this guy 7-8 times more dollars, than Gunnar Gertula. Elijah Pritchett's getting around $1 million. Gunnar's not even close to that. So when you have a lot of money invested in a player, even if the backup maybe is a little bit better, you're going to try to put out the guy you're paying more because you want him to prove you right. So Elijah's going to get a lot more slack because of his price tag. I believe he's going to be left tackle. Again, Lateef, Justin Evans, Rocco Spindler, that's pretty much solidified. And then right tackle, I know the coaching staff, they said, Tyler Knack right now is starting there. I still think by game time, it's going to be Teddy Prohaska simply because I think Teddy's a better player. I do. I just think Teddy all around is a better run blocker. I think he's definitely better in the pass pro. He's more athletic. It's just about him staying healthy. So I think if they want to put on the best five, that's probably what it looks like for Nebraska. And then you got Tyler Knack and Gunnar Gertula as your swing tackles. Could be a lot worse than that. Turner Corcoran, we'll see if he's available by game time, but he's definitely one of our swing guards off the bench. You got President Tomo, Sam Sledge. I mean, it's pretty solid two deep. And then a couple other guys there. Grant Bricks, I do have as a third stringer. I just don't think he's ready. He should be in the mix next year to potentially start, but this year, again, he's still very raw as a prospect. His pass pro is not very good. You got Houston Kaahaaina-Torres. He's a true freshman. I think he's going to be a third string center, man. He's had a really strong fall ball. You got Gibson Powell, Brock Newts, and a couple other guys there. So pretty decent lineup for Nebraska on that offensive line. Feel pretty confident in that prediction. Then let's go over to the defense, because the defensive line, a lot of questions there along with the secondary. Let's go to the trenches. So this is what I expect it to be by game time. You got Keona Davis, you got Riley Van Poppel, you got Cameron Lenhart. Now, right now, the lineup in fall practice has been Keona, Cameron Lenhart, and Elijah Judy. Riley Van Poppel's actually been running with the second stringers, but I think Riley's a little bit more talented than Elijah. We know Elijah is more of a senior, but I think, again, if they want to put out their best three, that's probably what it's going to be. Elijah Judy is still going to get in the ballgame a lot. Again, they rotate I'd say about 7-8 defensive linemen a game. So the depth chart really doesn't mean as much on the defensive line, because if you're in that side, that top 8, top 9, they're all going to play. They're all going to get snaps. So, that's what I believe to be the starting three. Williams Neri, Elijah Judy, Jalen George should be healthy by game time. Those are in the second stringers. And then you got Jordan Ochoa in there, Sua Lafodu, Dylan Parrott, Gabe Moore, some other guys backing him up. I think, once you get to the third and fourth stringers, it definitely gets a little worse on this defensive line. We're hoping that there's not injuries in that unit, because that could really derail Nebraska's season. I'm just not a big believer in the D-line. I think it's a great run-stopping unit, but getting to the quarterback is something that it needs to prove me that they can, get there consistently, because that's really not what we've heard from fall camp. And then you go over to the linebackers, couple changes there. Javen Wright, I now have starting at middle linebacker over Vincent Shavers, just from everything we've heard in fall camp. Again, not to say like Vincent Shavers is playing bad. Vincent Shavers is playing great, but they really like Javen Wright. And with the way he's playing, all the muscle he's put on, he's a veteran leader. So just expect both those guys to play a lot, but that's what your starting linebackers are definitely going to look like. You got Willis McGahee in there at the jack position. He's going to get in the ballgame a lot, especially on third downs. Jordan Ochoa, again, he's either a 3 technique or a jack. He'll play both positions, but he's definitely going to make his impact felt. And then, you go to the back end of this middle linebacker depth. It is a little bit concerning. Like, I definitely don't trust Gage Stenger or Dylan Rogers, because both those guys have really never played. So you're hoping their top 4, which is very good, can stay healthy. It's the same deal with this entire team. Like, Nebraska's top end talent is good, but God forbid we ever got injured at some of these positions, like D-line, linebacker, even quarterback. Like, that could quickly derail Nebraska's season. Some of these other teams, like an Ohio State, obviously it's never ideal if your stars go down, but, the better teams in the country, they have guys, in the third string units who can still give you valuable snaps. Nebraska's not there yet. So hopefully, we don't get injured, because you look at the back end of these depth charts and it is very concerning for the Huskers to this day. And then to round out the defense, we go over to the secondary. Now, I was leading the Mari Sanders bandwagon since January. I believe that he was going to start at corner alongside Sear Wright. Pretty much confirmed that's not going to be the case. Andrew Marshall has solidified that spot. So again, that's still a very solid top 3 corner unit with Sear, Andrew, and Amari. But after that, definitely some question marks. I think Donovan Jones, he's had a very strong fall camp. He's going to get that nod. Jameer Khan's been off and on. Jeremiah Charles, with his athletic upside, is going to get some snaps. And then, Bly Hill, as somebody who could sneak his way into that chart. I'm just not a big Bly Hill guy, and a couple others there. Going over the slot, you got 3 guys who I think could start. And Malcolm Hartzog, Mario Buford, and Larry Tarver. That just might be Nebraska's deepest position as the slot / nickel corner. And then you look at the safety spot. You got Marquez, you got Deshaun. No question about it. Those are going to be your starters. Justin Rhett's had a strong fall ball. He's going to get a lot of snaps. Derek Branch, same deal there. Veteran walk on. And a couple other guys there. Caleb Bennett, Kamir Prescott. Probably going to get some significant snaps on special teams there. Round out the third stringers at the safety position. So that's the defense. Feel free to disagree with me. I think I'm spot on. But we have to end things off with the specialist, because we know that's very important for Nebraska. Who's going to be our starting kicker? Honestly, more importantly, okay, not more importantly, but who's going to be our starting kick and punt returner? Let's get into it. There we go. That's what I think is going to happen at the specialist spot. John Hull, I believe, is going to be our starting kicker just because I think he's the most talented. He's the most consistent. Kaahaaina-Torres definitely probably, I know this for a fact. It's not a probably. He can kick the ball a little bit farther than John Hull, but from an accuracy standpoint, it's not as good. At least it's been that way throughout practice so far. So I think that's going to be your 2 right there at the kicker's position. Now, my prediction is John Hull's going to be your place kicker, and then Kaahaaina is more so going to be the kickoff guy. So that's my expectation. Archie Wilson's our punter. No debate. Kick returner, Andrew Marshall, Kenneth Williams, and Isaiah Mozee. Those are the guys really getting snaps there at kick returner. And then punt returner, Jacory, Barney, and both Andrew Marshall I expect to return for the Huskers. I think Jacory's going to be that main guy in punt returns, Andrew on kicks. And then Kevin Gallick is your long snapper. So, all right, guys, that is my official last Nebraska depth chart prediction before the season. I think I hit the nail on the head. God forbid any injuries happen before the year. But let me know your thoughts down below. Anything you disagree with, anything you agree with, I want to hear your thoughts. Hey, if you made it this far, you know what to do. Hit that like button and subscribe. As always, folks, go be great, go Metro, and I'll see you in the next one.